yote ni vanity, vanity, bila Yesu ni vanity, vanity, yote ni vanity, vanity, bila Yesu ni vanity. Hey yo people, this is Daddy Owen, aka Papa Fololo, aka Uncle Mutulele, aka Lino Le Pepino, aka Mokoto Nanga for chasing away the evil spirit. And I am uncentered. This is a very interesting question. I love this question. Kitambo used to get irritated by the I've been here for 18 years, and when I was still like my early years in the music ministry or entertainment, I used to find it very weird when someone asks you, where have you been? What is happening? How come hauna ngoma mpya? Mbona tukuoni? But nowadays I came to realize that music, have you ever been to a lift whereby you have to press, sometimes kuna buildings kuna B1, B2, M, siko najua M ni nini, kutoka ushago siko najua M ni nini. 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So sometimes you're on ground floor, but you need to go to B2. And sometimes you're on ground floor, but you need to go to 9, which is the 9th floor. And music is like that. There are moments whereby you enter into the scene, you have to struggle. You have to go through a cycle of things. And I always give an example. I believe each and every person, it doesn't matter the career, but I believe each and every person goes through this cycle. I came up with this idea a long time ago, and I realized that the same way Christ came on earth and he had a cycle of 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, and then he had a favor moment where he was performing miracles. Like you just read in the Bible where they say a large crowd followed him and healed them all. So this large crowd was around him, you understand? And then now there's mentorship and stewardship moment whereby now you realize that you've already taught these guys all these things. You've already performed the miracles. You've already done the great things. Now give it to these guys. They should take it all over the world. Now you go back to another thing. So that's the same cycle. You'll find that even in business, I'm a businessman. So there's a business whereby you find that the moment you enter the business, they tell you you have to take 6 months of toiling or struggling, you understand? And then eventually it reaches a point now you have to advertise. Guys are not coming. And then it took a moment whereby customers are all over. In fact, you're like, how will I supply to all these guys? And then it reaches a point now you feel like I need to grow, to go to the next level. Should I become a wholesaler? You understand? Or should I just maintain being a retailer? And then you realize after becoming a wholesaler, you're like, let me morph. Let me look for another business. If I was in phone accessories, let me now start building houses. Let me build an apartment. I struggled for 2 years chimbing foundation, building, you understand? That's 40 days and 40 nights. You're struggling. And then now you've built the house. Now customers are in, the tenants are in your house. You collect like 1 million per month and all that. Then eventually someone just comes, builds a very nice apartment next to yours, and all these guys just move next to, because kuna steam, hot shower, so they move, you understand? All those things. So as a musician, there are moments where you need to realize that when I have this album, I'll be on 9th floor. When this album, people have already consumed the album, I need to go back to the basement. Right now, musically, I can't say I'm on 9th floor. Musically, I'm from basement, now I'm on ground floor. I'm preparing the land because I want to build the house. I want to release a new album. I know how far and how elevated 9th floor can be. I know the altitude at 9th floor. It's very scary. People, everyone dreams to be there. I've been there. I know how scary it is. What I know is I need a very strong foundation for my building to reach 9th floor. So many artists fail on that because for me, I've been here for 18 years. But you find so many artists after 5 years or 3 years, they always say a cycle of a musician is 3 years. After the 3rd year, they disappear and you wonder what happened to this person. But for me, I've been here for 18 years and I thank God for that. But right now, I know what it takes for me to be at the 9th floor. And it's not easy because each album demands new things. Right now I have 5 albums. I'm planning to release my 6th album. And each and every of my album had hit songs that propelled me to 9th floor. So for a very long time I've not released an album. My last album is Vanity and I'm working on my new album. And I know where Vanity took me and I want this one now. Maybe I can propel it even to 12th floor. But Daddy Owen is in the building. Daddy Owen is on the ground floor, preparing just to press that button and we get to the 9th floor. This album just know is full of East African musicians, not only Kenyans but East African musicians. My target is Swahili speaking nations. So, and I discovered Swahili speaking nations, there are so many. We always think it's Kenya and Tanzania. I discovered my songs go to Congo, my songs go to Rwanda, Burundi, my songs go to Zambia. Some part of Zimbabwe they speak Swahili, Mozambique, the northern part of Mozambique they speak Swahili. So my target is like this region before, because someone asked me, why don't you want to target the whole of Africa? And I was like, I've been there. In 2010 I won Africa Mama's MTV Mama Awards, and it was an award for the whole of Africa. Mamas changed me. Mamas made me look at things differently. And like I said, 9th floor is very high and it can be very cold. And the cliche saying which says the higher you go, the cooler it becomes. I was in a very tricky place. It was a catch-22 because my real fan base was back at home here in Kenya. But when you go for African awards and all that, it means now you have to conform your music to sound more African and more popish and all that. And the moment you make your songs, your genre start sounding like popish or targeting Africa as a whole, because sometimes our songs can sound too traditional. But that traditional thing is what works for our market. That traditional thing is what connects with my mom and mothers in Ushago, Kakamega, Bungoma, Eldoret, Moranga. That sound is what connects them. But when you come to Africa, you feel like your sound needs to change and be urbanized in a way. And the moment you start urbanizing it, yes, in Africa, they'll start enjoying it. But your fan base at home, mtapoteana. They'll not connect to what you're trying to say or trying to do. Because I remember after that I did two or three videos abroad. I did one video in London, but it didn't connect. It didn't connect with. They want to see Akibanda. They want to see Mama Mboga. They want to see. That's what Kenyans want to see. They want to see. We want to see our land. We want to see you representing us from Kakamega. But the moment they see you in a Porsche car, you know, all those things, they can't connect with. You're there at Tesco. They are Naivas at Connect Tesco. Tunataka tuone Naivas, tunataka tuone, you understand? Quick mart, tunataka tuone. You get? Yes. So it was a very tricky point because I did an album that was like a preparation for me to go to Africa. So when we were talking to MTV, Sony, and all these big music producers in Africa and distribution channels in Africa, they were like, yeah, this is the sound, this is what we're looking for. But when I played to our local guys, they're like, hey, hii ngoma ni kizungu sana. You understand? So Mama's changed me. It made me humble myself to a level whereby I was like, hey, I don't want to lose my fans here. At the same time, I don't want to feel like nimefika. I don't want to lose that fire, that zeal in me. You understand? Because it's like I had already won all the Groove Awards in Kenya. I had already won all the Kisimas Awards in Kenya. Because there's no Groove Award that was like male artist nilikuwa nimeshinda kama mara 3. Like best artist for Kisima nilikuwa nimeshinda kama mara 2 ama mara 3. Like best artist for Chaguo la Teenies nilikuwa nimeshinda kama mara 2. So there's no bigger award at that moment for me to win here in Kenya. And I was like, let me go to Africa. I went to Africa and I was like, hey Owen, go back to the basement. Think about it. It's dark, but go and think about it, concentrate, and then don't lose the people who propelled you to the 9th floor. It's very interesting because for me, when I was still in high school, and at that time my big bro was already singing. My big bro is called Rafton. Rafton was already in the music industry, and he was doing secular music. He was not even doing gospel. But the moment I finished high school, I went to college, and I was like, now let me venture into music. I got born again in 2002. After getting born again, my bro was recording his album, his first gospel album, and he was like, come and drop some lines here. And when I went to the studio, the producer was like, hey, this young one can sing. And that's just how everything popped up, and I was like, I want to become a musician, I want to become a gospel artist, but the difference was I had to go back and understand why am I doing it and what am I going to do. So I had to treasure it and value exactly what I'm doing. Interesting. My real name is Owen Mwatia. That's my real name. Daddy Owen came about, it's interesting, because when I started, I used to call myself Street Doctor. Oh my goodness, don't even go there. So when I went to the studio, RK was like, Street Doctor it sounds like someone who sells drugs. Those drug dealers. So, yeah, man, so you can't be a street doctor in the gospel industry, so just change that name. So I went back home and I was like, what should I call myself? Then I remembered my dad calls me Daddy, and my mom calls me Daddy. The way I know we're going to a boy. So Daddy. So I was like, just connect Daddy and Owen, and then it became Daddy Owen. It's as simple as that. And in our family, we are 8. We grew up in Kakamega. In a very humble background. I went to Kakamega Primary School, then I moved, and then from there I transferred to Eshisiru Primary School. Then from Eshisiru Primary School, I went to Chebiusi High School. Then after Chebiusi High School is when I came to Nairobi, and I was welcomed by guys telling me, welcome to Nairobi, welcome to Nairobi. Yeah. It's interesting that none of them we never saw any of them singing or any of them having interest in music. But we later discovered that maybe my dad was so much into music because when I was young, we used to have a music store in Kakamega. So my dad used to sell tapes, all these things for music, album, LPs, those things. So he had a lot of interest in music. So I think that is the gene that we took, that for us, for not just having the interest in music, but even becoming musicians. So I think we got the genes from our dad. Yeah, that is one moment in life that I always regret, and sorry to say, but I don't like talking about it because it's that moment that you always have flashbacks. Yeah, because I sit down and I look at myself in a mirror and I'm like, wow, I just lost my eye because of a stupid thing. You get it? and you feel like, is it regret, or you feel like, I wish I made a right choice. I wish I did something different. I wish I looked at life in a different way, because I just came from Kakamega, coming to Nairobi. I wanted to live a flashy life and all that. And everything, it was like a house of cards. Everything just came down, and one day I had surgery and the doc told me, unfortunately, one of your eye will never see again. And I was like, are you serious? And then he was like, yeah. Unfortunately, you've lost so much, and we've just tried to make sure that it looks like it's seeing, but it will never see again. So that is a moment that that personal, it's called a thorn in the flesh, that personal thing that reminds you of so many things, that every time I wake up and I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, I need to work hard. I need to look at life differently. I need to appreciate who I am, because exactly at that moment when I was being beaten, so much went through my mind. So much went through my mind. And those moments you feel like, it's over. So much went through my mind. But here I am. And I thank God, because after that, my life turned around, and I started looking at life in a very different way. And God has really propelled me from that moment to where I am right now. And I never knew that the same Owen with a weird eye will ever become Daddy Owen, will ever become a household name in Kenya. Absolutely. And beyond. Absolutely. A familiar face. Another thing that changes people is family. When family, music is very engaging, and balancing between family and music, sometimes you have to take a lot of sacrifices. That's why unasianga watu wanasema ule haezi oa, because it's a matter of people thinking, because we live our life on the fast lane, and the difference comes in whereby, I remember in maybe 2013, 2014, because I got married in 2016, I remember 2013, 2014, there's a moment whereby I used to have gigs in Mombasa, and then I come to Nairobi, the same weekend, and then I go to Kampala, then I come back, then I have a small show somewhere like Moranga, like in one weekend you find you have like 5 events. And you see at that moment, if you have kids, if you have a family, you'll never see them, because you're always on the road. But when family comes in, you have to take a sacrifice to know who your wife is. Because of course, as you all know, they'll demand time, they'll demand to be with you. Your wife, before your wife will demand time. We need to be having coffee, we need to be having lunch, we need to be having dinner, those things, and then I can't be cooking here and then you're not here, those moments. So when family comes in, it consumes a lot of your time, and in a way, you find that even yourself, you feel like, let me sacrifice a lot for my family. And that sacrifice takes away that moment that your fans were used to. You understand? Your fans were like, you're always available for us. But it's at the point you're like, nah, I don't want to be available for everyone. Because even for me, I had to cut my hair, because everyone knows me with white hair. But I was like, this is just too much. The attention was too much. I couldn't walk anywhere. Everywhere I go, just because of my white hair. Even if you don't know my name, you go to, Msani, those moments. So I was like, this is now just too much. Because sometimes you just want to go somewhere with my wife, with my kids. And then I just have a quiet time. Maybe to Mombasa, maybe for vacation and all that. But you can't have that moment. But right now with my hair like this, kwanza nitoe hizi shades na nivae kashort, utajua hata mimi nani. Natembea tu nikienda. Isipokuwa tu macho yangu ndio inapoteaga kidogo. Huyu mtu wa macho chongo ni ile Daddy Owen. So that's the only moment that you is allowed. But so far, I believe in my brother, it's more of spending more time with your family. Because I feel like, even for me, I feel like niliowa late. Even my brother na Philippine aliowa late. So you feel like, because uliowa late, try to recover this time with your family. At least your kids will grow, and then you can go back to the same. I'm not a footballer. Footballer ndo ikifika age fulani, I kick ball and retire and all that. But musician, you can sing even. Like in a coffee, they're like, they're into 60s, I think. So you can still do it. Yeah, you can still do it. was really hard. It took me like 5 years to make people understand that I'm my own artist and I'm different and I have my own talent and all that. It took me like 5 years because I remember when I started, everyone was like, "We are never going to do naimba." And then you figure out a point now, if my song becomes #1 in the charts, guys are like, if you got #1 kwa maana ndugu yake pia ni famous. You know those moments, eh? So guys are like, the Mwatias, tunawajua, the Mwatias, of course wewe Daddy Owen. So you're with your friends, your peers wale mnashindana nao, wenye mmeanza nao. And then all of a sudden wewe imekuchukua 1 year, you have an album, this album imekuwa #1. So then your peers are like, but wewe unajua huwezi struggle. Si ndugu yako ni famous. So unampea tu anapelekea DJ. Na DJ atacheza because ndugu yako ni famous. So it was really hard to come out of that shadow. But for me, I say I wouldn't fight it. I wouldn't fight it. Let me appreciate it because there's someone somewhere who they never have such an opportunity to find someone who can hold their hands. Because for me, the most important thing I got from my bro, he was a very good mentor. He used to tell me, don't do this, don't be in a rush, don't be disappointed. It will take you years, it will take you time. Even if they say this and that, just relax. Your moment is coming. There's a moment they'll believe in you, there's a moment they'll trust in you, you know those things. So he's a very quiet man with full of advice and wisdom. So I used to listen to him a lot. So I didn't fight to be my own. I appreciated it. And eventually I became who I am. But I know at that moment people thought everything is working out because my bro is like this. But the moment I create like my own genre, when I release System ya Kapongala, that's when people are like, oh, this guy is different. Because I was not doing raga now, I'm doing Lingala, I'm doing more Swahili songs. Rafton is known for rapping, doing raga and all these things. So the moment I cut it and I was like, let me do Lingala and come up. And then I dyed my hair. And then I became so flashy. Guys were like, this is a different man. This is not, because we used to look alike. We have a clean shave, all of us. All these things. We sound alike. So the moment I changed my genre and introduced my own genre called System ya Kapongala, I came with dyed hair, funky, music for the young people and all that. That's when everyone was like, oh, now we need to take a keen eye on this guy. This guy is different. Hey, that one maybe you don't have that all that time. It's a lot. But the most weird, and I know this one will shock so many. This one I've never said it in here. The most weird was there's a day I was called for weekend challenge. You know those weekend challenge that used to happen in high school. So I was called to a school called Set House Girls. So I went to Set House Girls. At that moment is where now Kapongala, unajua ngoma imeshika yani eh. You know there's a hit song eh? And then there's a monster hit. So Kapongala at that moment was like, hey bana, kiddos are singing the song, wamama wanaimba everywhere, as in even in clubs, in churches, everywhere that song is being played. So interesting story. Nikaingia Set House Girls. So other artists are performing, mimi nimekuwa tu kwa gari. Ndatolewa hapo kama star. You know those moments, like the organizers treat you like you just landed from another country. Na umetoka tu hapa Buru, kwanza ulikuja na mathiri ukafika Tao, akakuchukulia taxi kutoka Tao mpaka Set House Girls. You know Set House Girls mnatembea tu kutoka Tao. Amekuchukulia taxi kutoka Tao mpaka Set House Girls. So hiyo taxi umekaa tu hapo nyuma uko tu unasaidia kuna watu wako wewe uko tu relax. Umefunga uko na katawali ka white. Hata tawali sijui kwa nini. Tawali ya white. Relax, unangoja your moment, eh? So niko hapo kwa gari relax. Then the moment came. Guys are like, Daddy Owen, unaitwa. So you're at backstage, unasikia, next on stage is Daddy Owen. There are no screams. What happened next really shocked me. Every student walked out of the door, of the hall, and they left. My song imewekwa. Should I perform or should I not perform? Everyone has performed, me no showstopper. What should I do? I performed. Left on my bench. Everyone left. And I really wondered, why have they done? Okay, belly imepigwa, but the way they moved, it was so systematic. So for me, I know when I was young, I used to tell myself, even if I'm given a crowd of 20,000, I'll perform. Even if I'm given a crowd of 5 people, I'll perform. The same energy I'll apply in the 20,000, the same energy I'll apply for 5. But now, this is not 5. This is benches. These are seats, chairs. No one is there. Not even 5. They've left. The DJ is just shocked. Everyone is shocked. No one knows what's happening. So me, I performed. I performed. I can see them outside going. Then I chomoka from the stage. So after that, I went backstage and I asked, hey, what happened? Everyone is asking, hey, what happened? Why? What is happening? So they called one of the CEO leaders and she came and she was like, last weekend, there's a pastor who came here and said that Daddy Owen is like a devil worshipper. Daddy Owen is like guys from, they're called what? Illuminati. What? And I was like, what do you mean? And even he came with a video and even showed every kid and he projected your songs and he is like he has edited a portion and then he stops, a portion then he stops, and then he explains that move I was dancing means what in Congolese, that move I was dancing means what in the Illuminati church or temple. So I was like, what? Can you imagine?
I cannot even fathom that.
I was in shock because, at that moment, you've worked so hard to become who you are. And then you feel like now this is the epitome, this is like, finally I've gotten it. I've gotten that song I was looking for. And now this is a humbling moment. And to make it worse, it's all lies. Kuna zile unajuanga at least unajua, hii story nataka imetokea, kuna kafununu na kuna ka ukweli fulani ndani yake. But this one, hata wewe inakushock. Because you never had it. Unajua ushasikia rumor mahali, ungejua they are doing this because of. But this happened at that moment sikuwa nimejua anything. Then I went and discovered this guy had even released a DVD and he sold the DVD to the kids in school, those children in school, the high school kids. So this, you see, it's like a sermon. Someone has sold to these people. So they have it. So they had to believe it. They had to watch it over and over again. So you being on stage, they're like, what are you trying to tell us? At that moment, how, you see, before even I went to record Kapongala, I was like, I can say in a mild depression. Yeah. I was in a mild depression. And it was really, it's interesting how God works. Because I was here in Nairobi, I had released my second album, and my second album didn't do well as my first album. So after that, these are the things that artists never share. People don't like. If you ask artists, will tell you, hey, all my albums are dead.
The exclusive.
Any exclusive. So my second album didn't do well. This is what I'll say. Sometimes you can release a song. Deep down in your heart, this song is not doing well. But the song can have more views than your past song. But what people don't understand, that this song is having more views, it's riding on the glory of this previous song. You get it? So my album was like that. My first album did so well. But my second album sold more than the first album. But it sold more than the first album because people expected it to be brilliant as the first album. But the second album, I felt like I didn't do, you understand? Eventually, the disappointment got into my head and all that, and it's like I went in like a small minor depression. So I was so depressed, I couldn't go out, all these things. So one day a friend of mine just called me and he's like, come to Eldoret. So I went to Eldoret. Reaching there, the guy was like, in fact, our bishop friend has opened a studio, let's go and check out the studio. So when we went to the studio, I found out that the guy who's working there is a producer that I know. And we talked to the guy, and the guy was like, just live here for a month as you unwind. And as you're unwinding, you can work in the studio so that you don't lose touch of who you are as a musician. Amazingly, that unwinding moment is what created Kapongala, Tobina, Kerero, all these songs, all these amazing songs were created in that moment. So you can imagine going through that, and then now you have like the biggest song, the monster hit that you are praying for, and then now this thing happens when you're performing in a certain school. So it really got me. It really got me. And I nearly fell back to the depression, but the best thing is sometimes I always say God always gets me out in such moments. And that one, you don't know, I'm saying God came through, but God had come through. Because kidogo ningedunda pale kwa depression tena. For me, nothing is new. Like I said when I started the interview, I've been doing this for 18 years. And through the 18 years, I've seen it all. I've seen artists moving from secular to gospel. In fact, even right now, there are not even so many artists who are moving from gospel to secular. Those days, in our days, I can count for you how many artists right now are doing secular who are in gospel. You'll be shocked. There are so many. You understand? And to make the matters worse, I think, is because right now we have social media, we have a lot of media highlights and all these things around the music industry, is when we take note of such things, of such movements. But in our days when we started, like 2002, 2003, these are things that were happening. And everyone was like, gospel is dead, it's a cycle. Gospel ministry will never die. That one will never die. People will change, people will come and go, but the ministry will never die. All of us have found it here and we leave it here. That is something that will never change. People need to understand that. That will never change. The characters will change. The characters will move. The characters will come and go. But the element that is in the vessel will never change. That's the most important thing. People never forget that thing. The element itself that is in the vessel will never change. So it's like you have a sequence, a series that you're acting. You can change the actors, but the script that you wrote, you can remove that script from South Africa and bring it in Kenya. Kenyan artists will act it. You can take it to Hollywood artists will act it, but the script will never change. The characters will change, but the script will never change. So I never panic, I never worry saying that gospel is it. In fact, for me, I'm always happy when there's a shift. There's a shift and things move and change. I love change because I know change is inevitable. So when that shift happens, something new is coming. That someone lied to me that a man is the head of the house. That's the worst lie. Let me tell you something. Men out there, no one should lie to you, man. No one should lie to you. That house is not yours. That's one thing I learned that.
Explain.
From the curtains to the chairs, as in, you're like, where is my taste here? As in, hizi colors nalipaka. You understand the rules, the food that is being cooked in the house na naamua. So mimi naingilia wapi? As in, where am I the head? Kuguruma tu kutoa sauti ama. So that's one thing I learned. I thought I'll be this macho man in my house, as in, I'll be like, watu wamekula? Chakula imepikwa. You know, I thought that is, who is a man in the house? Because I was lied to, because I used to watch movies, maybe dramas, people are lying how, that's how marriage is. But when you go inside there, for it to work, as a man, for it to work, let the woman, let me just not lie to you, let the woman take control of that house. Wewe kaa tu hapo una watch vitu zina happen na nini. Uko na say yako, yes. But isikue war. Because the moment unataka iko vile unataka, it will never work. So someone lied to me about that. So that's the thing that I So hiyo ndio kitu moja nasema ili change about me. Because in fact everyone tells me after I got married I really toned down, nikatulia, yeah, because umefinywa kwa hiyo nyuma paka ukitoka kuinja kwa okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Drawing the balance is what I spoke about earlier. Is sometimes it's really hard because your fans believe you guys are family and they demand you. At the same time, there are others who are looking at you as a brother, there are others who are looking at you as their son, there are others who are looking at you as their father, as their brother, as their uncle, you know, all those things. But in your own house, it's different because now this is real. These are people who you see each and every day and they want to see you there. They want to see you taking all your responsibilities of being a dad, because I have two boys who are really demanding. They demand a lot of my time. They want me to go for a ride with them. They want me to play football with them. They want me to watch cartoon with them. So I have to be there and I have to support my kids and be there and become the father who I believe, like the best dad ever. And then my wife at the same time, I need to create time for my wife because she comes from a very different background. How she was brought up and even her workplace right now is very different from mine. So balancing all these things is not easy, but I found the balance and I decided my home, let me become Owen. Out there, let me become Daddy Owen. At my home, let me just become Owen. Let my wife know me as Owen, let my sons know me as Daddy, and that's it. So I never like to share my private life with the public because I need to run somewhere and feel like I'm somewhere whereby I'm just me without anyone judging me or anyone look at me in a very different way. So I enjoy keeping my family private. Number one, a lot changed from, I think our generation is the transition generation whereby we come from seeing our dad, how our dad and mom used to relate, and ours is very different. Because for me, let me give an example of mine. My mom was a housewife, my dad was working. So it was more of my dad bringing food at home, my dad commanding everything, my dad doing like all this, and that's how it was because those days, that's how it used to work. Most mothers from where I grew up, in my neighborhood, were housewives. There were no women there who were business women, they're working in an office. There were few, a teacher, maybe a doctor, but you can count. But nowadays, it's different. In fact, most ladies and women right now are the ones who work in the offices. Most men are hustlers. Most men are wako huko nje wanatafuta. Mtu anauliza unafanya nini? Mimi niko huko nje bro, natafuta jo. Understand? So most men is different, and you find that when it's like that, even in the house, things start being different because my mom used to know that everything my dad will do, but right now you are at a point of me and my wife, we need to discuss. I can't just go and decide to buy a car. We have to discuss with my wife, which car should I buy? Is it important to buy a car right now? Those are decisions that my dad will never ask my mom. So that relation is really hard because you grew up seeing how your dad used to behave at home. You want to bring it in the house. Yet nowadays it's 50-50. You don't command the whole 100%. You don't command the lounge share. Right now she has a say, you have a say. My dad used to have a say. His word was final. Hakuna argue about that. If you decide you're sitting on tuna paint blue, the next day tuna paint blue. But right now it's more of negotiation. You discuss with your wife. You're like, saa zingine anasema tu hataki kula nyama. You understand? You're like, hutaki kula nyama? Kwa nini? Kwa nini hutaki kula nyama? Ati nimesoma kwa internet inasema red meat does what to the skin. But mimi skin yangu imekuwa tu kula red meat miaka yote. So those are the few things that you need to discuss, and it's different. So as millennials, remember, right now everything is more 50-50, and more so if you're not careful, you'll find in future women will have more money than men. Yeah, I can assure you, because right now the moment I work with, I've been working with corporates. The moment I step into a good example, even if you go to a corporate like Safaricom, right now if you go inside there, you'll find most people who are on the desks are the women. The hierarchy is the women. You'll find even like all the managers, directors are women. It's only maybe the CEO who you'll find is a man, but the directors and the men, they're women. So And even my wife, where she works, she's one of those strong, tough women. You understand? So, can you imagine this person at home? You have to discuss, you have to come to a consensus. It's not like you're the one who's commanding, because even for her, she's bringing something to the table. You understand? Yeah. As much as she submits, as much as you're the head, as much as she respects you, you must love her with that condition, knowing that at the end of the day, everything we do here, we are doing as 50-50 and we're contributing as a family. Okay. Yeah. Generally, I look up to very different people here and there. Kirk Franklin is one of those people who is very passionate. Every time I watch an interview of Kirk Franklin, even if it's on YouTube, I learn something new. That this guy started before us and he's still here. So you tend to wonder, where does he get that zeal, that small power that he has in him to each and every day look at life in a very different way. And it's very important even for young artists to understand that no matter where you are, you need to treat your latest album as your first album, because so many artists, they tend to believe that's because my first album did well, so this one I don't need to put a lot of effort because I'm Daddy Owen. But they forget that you need to put even more effort in this one, more than how you put in the first album. And that's how Kirk Franklin is. He always says that even distributing the songs, he looks for DJs till today. Even if the DJ will get the song from YouTube, he'll call them and ask them, man, have you seen my new song? So that passion, that zeal is always there. And you see, that's a person who I just see on TV. But sometimes you just need a role model that you look up to each and every day, and you see how they behave each and every day. And there's a story I read somewhere that long time ago, a prodigy, before in the Roman Empire, before they pick a mentor, they used to go. You know, those days it wasn't a mentor picking a prodigy. It was a prodigy picking up a mentor. They used to tell the mentor, we have to go to a secret room. And in this secret room, you have to remove, you have to strip. And I must see your back, I must see your body, I must see you naked. And by me seeing you naked, I'll know if I'll pick you as my mentor. And then in the story they say, the reason is, by seeing this person naked, you'll see how many cuts, how many swords, how many battles this guy has fought. So the more marks this guy has, the more battle he's gone, he's fought, and then he came back victorious. So I'll pick you by the number of the wounds that I see in your body. Meaning that I know for sure I'll go fight battles and come back alive. So that's the same thing. When you're picking a mentor, you need to look at someone who you know, I can walk with this guy and understand him, and eventually I can become like him. And that person is my brother Afton. I've lived with him in the same house. I've seen how he prays. I've seen how he's real. I've seen when he cries. I've seen when he's laughing. You understand? I don't want, there's a difference between mentoring and coaching. A coach, even in football, he's always on the touchline. Him is just shouting and directing. But a mentor is a person who, he's not saying anything, you just follow him. Just follow him. If he steps here, step. If he steps here, step. If he stops, stop. If he's walking, walk. If he runs, run. That's how a mentor is. And that's my bro. My bro never told me, now I'm your mentor. It was just for me to watch and see how everything happens and how everything unfolds. And now it was for me to apply all these things. So when people tell you, oh, I want you to be my mentor, it's different between being a mentor and coaching. I can coach you, but I cannot become a mentor. You becoming my prodigy, and me becoming a mentor, you need to walk with me. Walk with me everywhere I go. Walk with me. Even if I come for this interview, just sit there and watch how I'm answering questions. I'll not tell you now, watch how no. You just watch how I'm answering. That's mentorship. And that's different from coaching. Coaching can tell you, when they ask you this, say this. When they ask you this, say this. So I think those two guys have really made me become who I am today. And of course, I love reading the Bible, but the Bible has so many stories, and these stories teach you how great men fell, how great men became who they are, and it has so many lessons on how to apply even in the life right now. When you read the story of David, you'll understand. Read the story of Joseph, you'll understand. Read the story of Moses, you'll understand. So all these things make me who I am today. Okay, let me start with my new song that was just released like 1 week ago. It's called Narejea Kwako. The song talks about how each and every person, during this pandemic, everyone has gone through a lot. And by going through a lot, so many people have lost their jobs. So many people have felt like the world has just turned upside down. And I was like, I need to release a song that will speak to all these guys, and to know and to realize that we need to go back to God and talk to God and tell God. The Bible says David, Abraham, all these people, Abraham became a friend of God. So even for us, we can become friends with God. So the song, the chorus says, let me start with the verse. Niambie, niambie, unanipenda tena, nionyeshe njia zako, nisipotee tena, magonjwa na janga la nzige, zimeshafika Kenya, nipe ishara yako nijue, unanipenda tena. So the most important thing for us is to know that God loves us and we need to go back to Him. So the chorus says, narejea kwako, tuwe marafiki tena, narejea kwako, tuwe marafiki tena, narejea, narejea. So I'm coming back to God like a prodigal son and telling God, God, I'm coming back. Let's become friends again. So this is a song in my new album called Narejea Kwako. My new album is dropping soon. But before I drop my new album, this pandemic has taught me a lot. And through sitting at home for those like 8 months, I was just looking for new ways and new channels to being elevated to another level. And through that, God gave me more ideas. And with my partner, my business partner, we've come up with a new line of accessories. So soon I'm launching a new line of phone accessories, from earphones, headphones, screen protectors, chargers, power bank. We've partnered with Safaricom. So I'm launching in all Safaricom shops on the 26th of November. This is an exclusive. No one knows about this. So I'm launching my accessories. They're called Balance by Daddy Owen. So you'll see the logo everywhere. You'll see the logo anywhere. Just know these are very genuine product. Buy your own, promote your own. It's a very, very good product because you can get your earphones, you can get your headphones, you can get your screen protectors, you can get your phone covers, you can get your chargers. In fact, the phone covers have very cool designs on the back with very cool Bible verses. So it's a very unique product line. And as we speak, even Safaricom were really impressed. And I thank God. Came the pandemic, everyone complained, but through the pandemic, God is giving you more opportunities. I was like, what more can I do? There are no events, I can't perform, music is not selling, what should I do? God came with the idea, and here we are. On the 26th of November, I'm launching at every Safaricom shop. You can get Balance by Daddy Owen, the accessories, very unique accessories, affordable, relatable, and anything you need for your phone, you'll get through this product called Balance by Daddy Owen.
You are watching Centered, shot here at La Prima Studios in Lavington, Nairobi. Time to have fun on Take a Bite If, and our guest is none other than Daddy Owen, lakini amekataa hizi vitu zenye tunakulanga hapa, amezikataa. Amesema kwa sasa tumpatie tu break.
Nataka ugali. Hakuna ugali. Kama hakuna ugali, hii ni kutusimluya bana, bila ugali bana. Leta ugali uone hizi zikitembea. Kama hakuna ugali hatuwezi kula hizi vitu.
Next time tutaenda ugali, tutaenda kuku mzima ama tutaenda kuku Tuone Daddy Owen akizikula.
Hatuwezi kudanganya mdomo. Hii ni kudanganya mdomo, watu wengine tunakuja kucheza huko ndani na si ugali. Ugali.
Lakini the first thing ni tuko na maji hapa. So Daddy Owen anacheza tumbo yake na maji. Each question inaenda kuuliza, he will go. Either one full glass of water or 2 full glasses of water. So are you ready for this game? So I'll ask you a question. If you answer yes or no, there is a penalty for that. And that penalty is, I'll tell you, nitakuwekea maji hapo kwa hiyo kikombe yako.
Hii game ni game gani?
Nitakuwekea maji kwa hiyo kikombe yako na unaimeza haraka sana. Uko sawa?
Niko sawa.
Haya. So Daddy Owen, this first question goes to you. It's a yes or no answer. If you answer yes, 2 glasses. If you answer no, 1 full glass. Very fast.
So there's no option of...
No, there's no option. I will put a leg in.
Okay.
So the first question is, drink this water if you've ever sung loudly in your car. The answer is yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes. So, and I have to say, that hii maji ni moto, wanapenda maji yake. So wacha tuone. Kunywa hiyo maji.
Hii maji ni moto sana.
Kunywa, si moto sana. Kunywa maji. Ndio ni
Oh. Ni moto sana bana.
Wewe ndio umekisema tu.
Haya.
Twende.
Eh, Buda. Kwani ngoja kwanza bana.
Kusamehe bana. Jibu yako ilikuwa yes. So, kama mbili.
Haya sana.
Kusamehe bana. Haya. Twende.
Okay.
Leo nimetisha maji moto. Sasa ndio hiyo wakazi sasa.
Na sweat bana. Hamna AC?
Hakuna AC hapa. Daddy Owen, the first in this special edition. Wacha tuita special.
Buda jo. Lakini mfungue mlango ya choo basi. Buda, ana shades zinajaa moshi. Zinajaa moshi, zinapigwa na steam mpaka sioni bana.
Haya, pumua. Tunataka swali ya pili. Swali ya pili, yes and no.
Okay.
Hizi itachange, itaflip. Kama ni no, glass mbili. Kama ni yes, haya. Take a glass of this water. If you ever cheated in a hiyo ni yes. Hiyo kana hesitation hiyo ni yes. Lakini uko na gari kwa sababu yes. Yes,
when cheating penalty is hash. For the first time cheating penalty is hash.
Kunywa. I think we should be saying that. Go.
Mazejo.
Maliza.
Maji unaweza kunywa nini?
Maliza. Ulikata chakula yangu ile kupatia mzuri sana. Sasa kunywa.
Ila tumbo itafura jo.
Ndio hiyo nataka ivure. Kunywa kabisa. Maliza. Question 3.
Aziaisha? Simsema question mbili.
Hakuna. Question 3. Tuko na 7.
Wacha mchezo bana. Hizo ni vikombe kama 14. Wacheni mchezo. Walisema you can only drink 8 glasses of water. Wacha nikuulize na wewe ukuli.
Nitakunywa baadaye.
Kwa nini?
Nitakunywa kwa sababu hii ni maji yako. Mimi sikunywi maji moto unless nikule.
So utakula?
Utaniuliza swali na
sawa. Wewe.
Question ya 3. Bado yes.
Hata ningekula.
Yes moja. No. So, take a glass of this water. If you've ever fried a pork. Ever.
Yes.
Glass water.
Moja, si ndio
Moja.
Change tu bro. Itakuwa tu moja. Wewe change. Endelea kuchange. Budaja tutoe glasi kwanza kidogo. Zinakuwa moshi. Lakini wanasema you can only take 8 glasses of water.
It's okay.
Nisha kunywa 5.
Don't worry. Hata kibasi sawa. Tutakuwa too much. Ndio.
You can never drown in kunywa maji moto, si ndio?
Huwezi. Question 4. Hii nimeflip. Yes ni mbili, no ni moja.
Okay.
So drink that water. If you've ever worn Rafton's outfits and claimed they were yours.
Yeah. Yani shida ni mmepata mtu ameokoka shida gani? Ningomleza danganya ningedanganya hizo swali zote.
Ungedanganya zote lakini huwezi.
Ningedanganya hizo swali zote jo. Sasa hii ni ya kwanza tu kwenye ya pili.
Uliflip sasa hii ni mbili.
Hii ni flip sasa ni mbili.
Jo.
Takupatia nguvu.
Ngoja kwanza jo. Wow.
Go daddy, go daddy, go daddy, go daddy.
Chozi kwa wapi?
Oh, bado kuna nyingine?
Wow.
Huyu mwenye ametupatia hii nini? Petro amefikiria.
Ebu producer, ebu hesabu nimekuja vikombe ngapi? Kwa hiyo nasikia ni kama ya 7.
Wow.
Huyu ni producer amefikiria tu sana. Amefikiria sana. Kunywa maji nzima.
Maze mtu maji hawezi kunywa mingi hivi. Inakaa kama zile competition. Zile ma eating competition bana, unasema kula mkate na soda, kula mkate kula. Bana nikaa hizo jo.
Na umekata. Hii hata ingekusaidia.
Maze inatoka kama mapua jo.
Maliza maji.
Okay sawa. Mimi nafikia uone.
Maliza maji. Ndakungoje utakusubiri maliza maji. Kisha maji. Ndio unasema.
Maze na sweat bana. Na sweat.
Haya, wacha nikate swali moja, nikuulize moja.
Jo.
Yaani hata mimi na sweat, na sikunywi maji. Daddy Owen. Yes, if you answer yes.
Okay.
1 glass. If you answer no.
Siku tu yes.
Oh, no.
Iko tu yes man.
So, Daddy Owen, drink that water. If you've ever been paid to sing in a Kenyan political event.
What is political event?
Political event, nzima wanasiasa wanaenanga kama tunaenda kwa probably umeitwa win the BBI kama hiyo.
Okay, wacha kwanza. Unajua? Let me ask you. Ukimba madaraka day ni political event? Because watu wengi hawajajua hiyo difference. Ukimba inauguration is it a political event?
Is it political event?
That's the question because what I know, I've never gone somewhere kusupport mtu. I've never done that. At ile tuzati, there's a rally, I'm going there kuambiwa say sasa tano tena. No, I've never done that.
So that's a no.
That's
a no. Lakini wacha tu, let me spare you, wacha breathe. At least umetujibu swali hiyo. Let's go to the next question.
Yes. Maza sioni jo.
Final question. This is a yes or no.
Okay.
Still, yes, 2 glasses.
Okay.
No 1. So Daddy Owen, have a drink. If you've ever fallen in love at first sight.
So answer ni yes ama no?
Yes or no? Sasa mimi nataka.
So yes ni ngapi?
Yes ni mbili. Yes ni mbili. Yes. Ni ya mwisho, ni swali ya mwisho. Ai.
Maji imeisha bro. Maji imeisha. Kuna maji moto, maji imeisha. Yeah! Maji imeisha. 2 liters man. Maji imeisha.
Kunywa maji.
So hajui answer yangu. Hajui answer yangu kama ni yes ama ni no. Mimi nakunywa maji.
At least uko umesema ni yes. So at least unajua. Lakini nataka ukule kitu moja hapa. Lazima moja, onja. Yes.
Yeah!
Hata kama ni
Aya hapana jo. Unaanza kitu kama ina maji vile. Unajua ngoza ndo kama mbio ile ujayo. Ukisema tu cut. Wakisema tu cut.
unaona trick
Mbio. Washroom. Wakisema tu cut. Hebu sema tu cut.
Angalia.
Maji imeisha bro. Bro maji imeisha jo. Maji imeisha bro.
Full glass.
Ai bro.
Mkome celebrate. Full glass.
My kidneys man.
Umeanza tu hiyo.
Zinashanga what's happening.
Kama digaga ziko zile za hey what's going on man?
Bro. Maze imetosha jo.
Imetosha? Sasa mimi niulize swali moja ama mbili na uniambie nini unataka nianze hapo. Nikuoneshe how it's done.
Aya. Mr. Joker.
Yes.
Question number 1.
Yes.
Have you ever confused when you're doing an interview the name or the guest? Ngoja mimi nalikwambia. Kama ni yes, ni pilipili. Kama ni no, tunacheza na biringanya. Ni question mbili Ndio hiyo sasa.
By the way ukuja center. Hii story ya kunipata pilipili kila wakati wacheni bana. No. Haya,
Second question. Second question. Ushai wacha niulize swali. Hii sitaki kwa noma sana.
Niweke kwa noma ukitaka, niweke kwa noma ukitaka.
Niko kwa noma? Let me ask a weird question. Unajua watu humu lazima ndakusikia pia a weird question. Na hii ni kitu wasioshangaa sana. Do you apply makeup on set or not? Kama ni yes, utakula garlic mbili. Kama ni no, hapo nimejiingiza. Acha tu kwa msoft basi. Acha tuwe tu. Itakuwa tu kati ya garlic na tangawizi ni tongaji. Ginger. Unaona umepona jo? Umeponea jo. Umeponea jo. Mimi zangu hizi ni hizo. Sasa kwa unfair. Moja ya mwisho. Wacha niulize moja ya mwisho. Wacha niulize the most weird thing. The most weird thing. Ushai meet dem ukamwitisha namba akakunyima?
Kama ni yes, kama ni no, atakula nini?
Okay. Kama ni yes, akina bros danganya hapa. Kama ni yes, tunacheza na machungwa.
Okay.
Unapiga bite ya machungwa.
Okay.
Kama ni no, unapiga bite ya ndimu. Ina clear hiyo garlic. Ina clear garlic.
I hope mapazona kwa umpata jibu alikuwa anataka kusikia. Mwenye pia the end of the day pia fan nama asikie kajibu fulani alikuwa anataka kusikia. So nimewaulizia jo. I hope nimewaulizia hiyo swali.
Hizo swali sijaulizwa. Wewe unafanya vizuri kusikiliza. Hizo swali sijaulizwa. This is something. Yenyewe usikule garlic, ukule limu, ukule pilipili. Ni vizuri ulikuwa usikata. Nimeona vizuri.
Good one.
Thank you very much.
Me appreciate. Kabisa, man. This is just amazing. This is different. It's something different, something amazing. And then, for me, I enjoy sharing my wisdom because I believe we are here to share our wisdom for the people who are coming even behind us. And it's very important they can only hear and get an opportunity to watch such things for them to be informed and all that. Because the moment I'm there and the camera is in front of me, I'd rather pour my wisdom than kuja hapo kusema vitu vingi. And the questions zinatrigger mtu kusema more ama kushare more of the world.
Okay, there you heard it from Daddy Owen. Check out his new album coming up soon. Check out Balance.
Yes.
Coming up soon.
Yes.
On the 26th of November.
Yes.
Don't forget that.
Yes.
And also, thank you very much for watching Centered. Until next week. Bye-bye.
Basi nimekuza swali rahisi. Nimekuza swali rahisi. Sijauza swali ngumu. Simba swali rahisi. Lakini buda maji ni mbaya. Maji ni mbaya. Maji ni mbaya, mtu asidanganye. Maji ni mbaya.
Nakwambia, I told you. Yeah, the first.
Maji ni noma. Inajaa paka hapa.